just mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J. Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up, and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground, I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone saying, who here thinks Ochenko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's doing the team 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochenko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the Spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for the show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like, they should
Players. Look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
Coach, I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now. Gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Tuesday.
Got 6 words out.
September 3rd. LSU.
Smoking a pack of Kugels over here.
LSU started the season off 0-1 for the 5th straight season. They left Vegas with an L, and I left Vegas without my voice. And it was a great 3 days, long 3 days. Glad to be back in Baton Rouge in our new studio. Lord, can they see your?
No, not yet. Not yet.
We got Lloyd. As the camera is not at the angle that gets to show the back behind him. We've got wood across the whole office now, whole studio. Pumped about it. Excited to be back in here. Sorry we missed y'all on Friday. I was at the game, watching the game in person. Spent a lot of money to not have a dub, but it's okay. There's a lot of things to talk about. A lot of positives that come out of the game. Believe it or not as many negatives. Yes, 0-1, never good for the 5th straight season. Put yourself in a hole. No room for error, especially in the first year of a 12-team playoff. But a lot of the question marks that they had, I think they showed that there's a significant amount of improvement. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of the game because I think some people have the wrong perception of what happened. After rewatching the game, Jay watched it 2 or 3 times. I've watched it a couple times, once in person, once on the way back from Vegas, the replay of the game. So a lot to be excited about.
Very commendable of you to be able to go to the game and
then
get on the flight and then be like, I have it's for work.
I did. That's exactly what I was like. What am I going to do? It was a long flight. I was like, I'm going to watch it. I was scared that I wasn't going to be at the internet and the plane wasn't going to work well enough, but it did. Was able to watch the whole game. There's a lot to be proud of, a lot to be positive about. We're going to get into that because I think everybody needs a little bit of positivity, and there is some positivity to be had. Sucks that they're on 1. We're going to get into that. College football as a whole was an electric opening weekend. First, the debut of College Game Day. I guess the real debut of like the first full week of College Game Day with Nick Saban. Thought that was pretty electric. Saban showing a whole different personality than you've ever seen before. Made some nice little jabs. $20 million don't matter if you pay the wrong guys.
I don't remember exactly what it was that he said, but literally right at the end of it, right after Pat had him in like a headlock and everything, he said something like, "Never had this much fun before."
Yeah.
And that's great.
Well, he dropped the shit bomb. Like halfway through the show, they're like, "Oh, this is going viral." He's like,
"Oh, no doubt.
$20 million doesn't matter if you don't. It doesn't
mean shit.
Doesn't mean shit if you don't give it to the right person."
No doubt.
Like, oh, save it.
I think it's a great thing for football. I think it's a great thing for College Game Day. Admittedly, if y'all didn't know, College Game Day starts at 7 a.m. in Las Vegas. I was not awake for that. Actually, I think it starts at 6 a.m.
You rookie.
It normally starts at 9, right? Yeah, 7. It was 7 a.m. First game started at 9.
It starts at 8 here.
Oh,
8 to 11.
It sounds like you weren't gonna make it no matter what.
6 a.m. Was it?
Kid don't know what world he's in over
Set my
there.
alarm for 9 so I could wake up to watch the actual first football
Your
game.
Central Time.
It was tough, but I made it. It was a good time. Oh, there's the Wasp back. He's back. He's above you. Get his ass.
Gun.
We don't have the gun. We don't have a gun. But College Game Day in Vegas is hard to watch whenever you go watch Metro Boomin the night before I live. But
you just got to stay long enough to go right in front of the TV. That's
yeah,
all. I mean,
yeah.
You know,
the first weekend of college football was a success. I think there was a lot of things to evaluate. There's a lot of teams that lived up to the potential. A lot of teams that were disappointing. Florida State could be worse. LSU could be Florida State. They could be 0-2 with a loss to 2 unranked teams. So not great. Not how they want to start it off. But college football is back, and I think it's a fun time. Our gambling season did not start off the way
we got clapped, bro.
Lloyd is going to take credit for the fact that he picked the only one that won in our parlay. And I'll give him credit because that was his name was underneath it. We were in agreement of all of our picks. We just decided to pick the SEC teams. Doesn't look good on us. Lloyd picked it. We all won that bet individually. Did not win the parlay. So we're 0-1 on the parlay. That's okay. First start of the first part of the. You had to see how the season was going to play out.
The first one, it's no fun.
You had to see how the season was going to play out, and you know we got some work to do in the gambling world.
Well, y'all do.
We do. You're right. LSU falls 18th in the I think AP poll, which kind of shows you what people think about them after the loss. Like it wasn't that far of a drop. It was 5 spots, which not too bad after an opening season loss for the 5th straight time. I think a lot of people were positive and high on what they saw. They need to see more of it. LSU's schedule isn't as tough. You go on the road to South Carolina. You have UCLA at home, but then you get to you have 4 games before you get to Ole Miss. I think that's going to be the next big test. Hopefully they can right some of the stuff that they had and be in a position to play their best football at that point. NFL starts on Thursday. Big first game of the season. Baltimore at Kansas City.
No. Baltimore against Kansas City in another country, right?
Is it another country?
Is that the game that's in another country? Or
No, that's not the one. That's somebody else because they've been talking about that for a while. Eagles game because they can't wear green in Brazil because it's gang colors and they're all like can't bring your family, don't want to bring their family. Like this is actually dangerous.
Yeah. So
and NFL don't give a shit.
Baltimore's
we about to make that money.
Baltimore's at Kansas City on Friday. You have Green Bay at Philadelphia, which is in Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
Which not look. NFL is a global brand now, so they are doing their best to try to have football games everywhere. But NFL's here. Our fantasy football draft is on Wednesday night.
On Wednesday night, late night.
Very excited about that. Have no idea how the hell that's going to go because I've not done one mock draft. So we will see.
Just ask me if you need any help.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
I won the draft, and according to every metric that you put it into.
There you go.
They always say, though, if you win the draft, you probably have a shit season,
I win the draft all the time.
Yeah.
It's the management of after the draft that really bites me in the
That's
ass.
And the last thing on the hiding
Thought this thing was over.
Coach Palmineri, I know it's not baseball season, but he's been itching. We've been itching to have him back on. He'll come on the show at 7:30, talk about the transition of what he's doing over there at South Carolina. Let's get to what everybody wants us to talk about.
Saints game?
Yeah, Saints game. Saints open the season with a winnable game. You'd hope. They play the Panthers. First game of the season. See what happens there. We got a lot to talk about before we get to the Saints conversation.
You almost fell for it.
No, wasn't going to do that. LSU's 0-1. Again. I was there watching the game live. It's hard to really dissect everything that's happening. You don't see stuff. You don't see the replays. By the way, they didn't show any of the replays on challenges in the stadium. Like, none. So, you had no idea
which way it went,
if it was actually borderline, if it was going to get overturned or not. So, had no idea. Allegiant Stadium is beautiful. Very Vegas-esque. They have shows that Jabberwockies played. It was, pretty entertaining. The game was very entertaining. Jay, you watched the game on TV, then you watched the replay of the game after the fact. Give me your take.
But first off, hats off to USC. They obviously played very well. That team's a lot more improved from what they were last year. You bring in a new DC. You christen a new quarterback because the old Heisman Trophy winner left. They played well. They played good. But make no mistake about it, that was a bad loss. Now, for me, it's a bad loss in a lot of different ways than what you usually hear and or see it being a bad loss. I don't think they played bad. I don't think the offense was stagnant. I don't think the defense couldn't not stop anyone. I think they did all of these things well. I think the one thing that we were probably not expecting because of how good Brian Kelly is at building a program is you expected to see a disciplined team come in there. And I think that's the side that lacked when I saw them play, and that's the part that really killed them. He had 10 penalties for almost 100 yards. He had some penalties in some key spots. He had some just boneheaded stuff that they did that put them in bad situations, to me, that cost them a lot in that game. I was very impressed and very encouraged by what I saw from Nussmeier. I think the running game would be a little bit better, but I think that's going to come along as they kind of keep going and they figure out who they are and what they got in the backfield and who can do really can do what. The defensive line played well. The linebackers flew around. You got better coverage than I thought I would see early on from those young kids in the secondary. I'm encouraged by what I saw when we just talk about straight up play wise, but it's a bad loss and I'm disappointed because the one thing I thought a program builder would bring in here was stability and discipline, and that team we saw yesterday or 2 days ago, they lacked discipline. They didn't play with discipline, and that shit got them an L in the first game of the season.
Look, Brian Kelly said as much in the press conference. I don't think that he approached the press conference the right way after the game. I think he said some things in the press conference today that people can look at and kind of raise their eyebrows at. One of those things was, he mentioned the undisciplined penalties by the two veteran guys, because the two penalties that happened that we're talking about, jumping off sides and those types of things, I can accept that. Pass interference, okay, that's part of the game. It's going to happen. It's not necessarily undisciplined. You jump off sides because you don't hear stuff. I can swallow that. It's the personal foul penalties. What? When you give me the
Swallow it. Take it in. Vegas, baby.
Swallow too much this weekend.
Yeah. How much money did you lose?
No, they're good. Didn't lose any. On the tables. Gave a lot of money to Vegas, but not on the tables. The penalties, like the undisciplined penalties, the personal foul penalty that Kyren Lacy had by shooting a gun, which he doubled down with on the sidelines.
Electric.
That one cost us points immediately.
Cost us field position hugely.
Huge field position, which led to
made
points.
us have to kick to Zachariah Branch.
Their most talented player.
And he almost takes them to the house. So
right.
Stuff
that
like
led
that
to a
hurts.
field goal. Great stop by the defense to hold them to a field goal. Right. Then you get a huge stop for the second straight time. The defense gets a huge stop second straight time to put you in a position to extend the lead. You're up 17-13 in the fourth quarter. You have an opportunity to go extend it. Then your sixth-year senior takes his helmet off on the field, which he knows that he can't do that. Loses his composure, takes his helmet off, 15-yard penalty. Instead of getting the ball at the 40, you're getting the ball at the 25. give or take some yards. I think it was 38-23 or something.
Yeah, it was 38 to the 15-yard penalty from the 38.
Yeah, so 23
quick math,
yards.
23.
So that's a significant difference in field position. And if you remember, I think they gained one. No, they were 3 and out because they got a false start. Then they got a 14-yard gain, and then got stuffed on 3rd and 1. So those 2 penalties directly affected momentum in the game in the time that you didn't need it to be affected. So, yeah, to me, that was probably the worst thing I saw for the weekend. The other things were, listen, they got some very unlucky bounces.
Yeah, I mean,
they played really good football. You had 3 fumbles that could have gone one way. It just didn't work out.
3 fumbles that you weren't able to scoop any of them up. There was at least 3 to 4 batted balls in the air, and I mean like legit batted balls in the air that usually they come down in somebody's hand. Nobody caught any of those.
One of them.
If a couple of those happen the other way, and for me, I'm okay with mentioning these because this isn't like we're just talking about past deflections that got knocked down or you usually don't see that many balls that hit the turf not come up on the other side of it. So for that to not happen in that game, if a couple of those happen LSU's way, you might be looking at a woodshed beating. Like you might be looking at an ass whooping. And I think that's what they were on their way to doing something like that. I'm encouraged by the play. I'm encouraged by the scheme. I'm encouraged by what we got in our really a first-time start out of a new quarterback. I'm encouraged by what the receiving group looked like. But they have to be able to play more intensive, more just you have to do better in what you're doing when it comes to penalty-wise. You can't do stuff like that. And when you get a team down, when you have a chance to put a team away, you have to go ahead and do those things. And we didn't do those things.
Let me ask you this, because when you watch the game in the first half, and then this is the last thing I want to talk about the negative side because there's a lot of positives. To me, there's more positives in this game than negatives. But when you watch the game and you watch the first half, felt like the offense was in a really good rhythm. They were throwing the football. Now, they weren't throwing the ball down the field because of the defense, the way they were playing and the way they were forcing LSU to be patient and throw the ball underneath, similar to how they played Patrick Mahomes last year. 2 high safeties. Hey, we're not going to let you get the big play. See how patient you are without trying to force the issue. Great game plan for a guy who's known as a gunslinger, who's going to go out there and let it eat. Thought Nuss did a great job in that sense. But offensively, they were in rhythm. They were trying to run the football. They didn't run it very well in the first half, but they were getting yardage. They were moving the change. They were moving the ball down the field, and they were driving. In the second half, it felt like they were trying to run the football and assert their dominance, which we all thought that was going to be the case. They had 1.5 drives of really good football running the football. Like really good play calling, run the football. They had success doing it, but it felt like they kind of lost some of their rhythm. Did you feel that same way?
Yeah, I mean, the rhythm was lost, but I mean, you got to remember, the other team on the other side did well with holding the ball and doing what they were doing. So it's not like we were on the field holding the ball and had the ball for a long time. At that point, I'm like the rhythm was lost a little bit, but I think it was kind of where the flow of the game was at that time, where it was kind of jab for jab. You go back and forth, and nobody was really making any advances with it at that point of the game.
I think people forget that it was 17-13 with 5 or 6 minutes left to go in the game, or 7 minutes to go.
I don't think people forget that at all.
But like my point is, the defense held an offense like that to 13 points for 53 minutes, and the offense had the opportunity to extend it. They didn't. The defense gave up a touchdown. Offense went down, kicked a field goal. Now, I know people are going to say, well, Nuss makes a throw. The game's different. Can't blame the game on one throw. Yeah, it's a throw that he wishes he would have had back. It's a throw that he makes probably 99 out of 100 times. But it didn't happen. He didn't make the throw. That's not the reason they lost the game. Now you have a 20-20 game, and you have an opportunity to make a stop, get the ball back, win the game. They don't do it. Right? But to me, I think the biggest question mark going into the game was how is the defense going to play? I thought the defense played as good as you can expect them to play. First game, new defensive coordinator, a lot of new system. Defensive line played lights out. Right? Defensive line is going to be an issue. I think the linebackers played great. Secondary played as good as you can imagine them to play, especially when you feel like they're a little bit light. Your Ashton Stamps had some plays, and Woodland, I think, is going to end up taking the starting job. How do you feel about the defense?
I mean, they played well. I won't say they played lights out. You got to remember, the team on the other side, there's a whole bunch of players on scholarship, and there's a whole bunch of players getting paid over there as well. So with someone like Lincoln Riley, who's had a strong history of being one of the best play callers and one of the best developers of quarterbacks, to go out there and have a fifth-year quarterback who can stay within the system and do what he's supposed to do, you're crazy if you were going to thought they were going to come out there and just completely shut him down. So I'm not going to sit here and say the defense played lights out. They played well. They played well enough for you to win, but you didn't win the ball game. That defensive performance, what I saw, was good. It was something great. It's a building block for you to build on. It's something for you to go with. I think when a team like this, who was quote-unquote supposed to be not good, who was quote-unquote unsure of what we were going to see, who was quote-unquote nobody thought that they were going to be a good team, when they were able to come out and do something like that, I think there's a lot of positives that they can go back into the lab and start working with and be able to get to a spot where 3 to 4 to 5 weeks from now, you really start seeing them play with swagger and confidence and really start believing in everything that they've put on tape, because what they put on tape so far has been good. But when you start having that swagger and that confidence and you start playing above those X's and O's and those little things like that, that's when you take that defense to another level. And I think we'll see if they get a chance to get there. But I was encouraged by what I saw them do on defense.
Yeah, and I don't think like obviously lights out, not lights out, but I think that if you said, hey,
27 points
compared to what they've been doing last year and how they played hard.
Look,
they're
listen, like I said, I liked what I saw. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if I go ahead and look at the numbers and I still go see a quarterback that threw for 330-something and they ran for defensive line in the sense of the run game played really well. I think they ran for under 100.
It is, 72 yards rushing.
So I ran for under 100 and you're able to do that. That's great, but the numbers are still the numbers. And lights out will never be we gave up 400 yards of offense.
Right. I don't think they played lights out.
Encouraging, but that's never lights out.
Yeah, I think they played good. I would say good. They played good enough to win the game.
Gave up 450 yards of total offense.
Right.
But
they did.
But I think that considering what you had last year,
100%.
I think that was a massive net win, and like y'all laid out earlier, where you're a couple of bounces of the ball away from getting maybe 2 or 3 turnovers. The
problem is you got outscored 14-3 in the fourth. That's the issue.
Okay, I want this to be a positive show because I do think there was way more good than bad, and people are like, you're upset with the result, and I understand that. Like, that is what happens. Like, at the end of the day, you want to win. Like, doesn't matter what it really looked like if you didn't win. And I understand that part of it. But if you're LSU, you have to look back at that. Like, there's so many things that are so fixable and so easy to correct that, like you talked about, like, being undisciplined. Like, Kyren Lacy probably is not going to do that again. Major Burns probably is not going to do that again. And you saw Brian Kelly in the presser, like, stick up for his guys. It was one of his better press conferences that he's had at LSU where he was actually engaged and talking about, like, look, these guys fucking care. Like, those are the two of the guys on the team that care the most about the things that they did wrong were the things that they were trying to correct the entire offseason. And they know that they fucked up, and that's okay. But it can't cost you football games, and it can't happen in those moments. But it did. And LSU has a chance to correct it, and then you're going to be rolling into an Ole Miss game where you're probably looking at an undefeated Ole Miss team and a one-loss LSU.
4-1 LSU.
And a one-loss LSU team. But the one thing that I will say that you have to kind of get fixed is, first of all, like, I'll listen to the press conference today, and the press conference after the game was a total just basket case. Like, he was emotional and he was mad, and I get it because I think he was shocked that they lost. And take that for what it is, but he came back today composed, and when you go look at what he said, and LSU is going to be in a spot where they should be, like I said, have one loss going into the Ole Miss game. But answer me some of the things. One of the things that confused me the most was his decision to continually not only go for it. Like, I'm down if you're going to go for it, but you have to have something dialed up. Like, if you're going for it on 4th and 3 in the goal line, first drive, you better have a play that you're like, this is money.
Well, they had it dialed up. The defense had a better play dialed up. I don't know if you saw it. They blitzed their backer there where the protection was slid one way.
Yeah, that slid out.
And they were able, they slid out because he came straight up the gut and no one was touching him because the protection was slid the other way.
Yeah.
So my point, they had their play. They don't go into situations like that where they don't have a play.
It just wasn't blocked right.
My problem with it is when you have a chance to get ahead, like, this is just me. Like, I get it, man. Like, analytics say this, analytics say that. I remember last year hearing Saban kind of talk about this stuff a little bit, and it says analytics are great, but there's also a sense of having some feel in the game and understanding where the game is and what the ramifications are if you don't, right? And my opinion is anytime I got a chance, for the most part, to get ahead, to put more pressure on you to have to do more, that's when I want to get on the board. You had a chance to get on the board. I get it. You're inside the 5, long field if you don't get it. If you don't score, get on the board. Put the pressure on them to have to go down and score now, right? He's always said he likes taking the first kick because he wants to be able to score first.
Game,
okay, well, let's go score first.
And that's what I was going to set you up for, because I think you laid it out before the show in a very interesting way that I hadn't really, like, I didn't see it in that way, because I'm always of the ilk of you just defer. But he kind of, and like I said, this is going to be like the last little part of the negative part of the show, because I think it was more good than bad aside from the result on the scoreboard. But if you're going to sit there and say, like, we played the analytics of going for it or scoring points on whoever scores first in the game usually wins the game, and then you're going to get asked the question about why did you receive instead of kick, and it's like, we don't look at analytics for that. That's just me. That's my gut feeling. This is how I want to approach the football game. And then you say, well, why'd you go for it? So with the analytics said if you score points, it's like, well, then you didn't take the points.
Look.
And this is 2 years in a row the exact same thing.
But here's the thing. That's fine, because I'm fine with that too, because you can't use analytics for everything, right? I can't sit here and say the analytics say do it and that's just how I'm going to run, because then you're no longer a coach. You're a placeholder.
You're a computer.
Yeah, you're a placeholder. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm cool with that. But when we got a chance to start putting the pressure on them, now look, let's say we're in a situation where they're up 7-0 or it's 7-7, maybe not. We've shown that we're gonna literally just continue to drive the ball on them. Yeah, maybe in that situation, but I don't. The risk reward of first game of the season, nobody knows what they got. There's a lot riding on this game. There's nerves and everything flying everywhere. We got first-time starter as a quarterback on this side, first-time starter as a quarterback on that side. Drive down, take the points, put the pressure on him. Say, hey, you go match it now, or you go beat it. And then if you beat it, we come back and we do the same thing. We're once again ahead.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I want to take the points when I get the chance to take the points in situations like that, unless I'm in a situation where I have continually showed that I'm driving the ball down on the field on you. All right, bro, you ain't stopping me right here. I'm going to go ahead and score anyway. The message to me, the message you send to a team in a situation like that, first play of the first drive of the game, first game of the season, that you go and score. If you think the other sideline is thinking, oh, man, well, we ain't got no chance now. I'm not sure that they're actually believing that right there. Right. I'm not sure if they're thinking like, oh, we in for a long night because they just scored on the first drive of the season. Whatever. I think there was more loss than you win by just getting on the board and putting the pressure on them in that situation, and it cost us. To me, that cost us a lot. You go into halftime, you be leading right there. You go into the last drive of the game where you would be willing and more able to run the football and run the clock out instead of being in a tie game situation if you're playing from ahead right there. We were not. We're playing for a tie. So, and that's where things change a lot for me. And that's because when you're playing at a 20-20 tie in that situation with that much time on the clock, you're thinking, I got to score a touchdown. Because if I don't, I'm giving the ball back to them, and they score a touchdown, we lose, and we don't have any time left. Yeah. So you can't really run the ball, bleed the clock, run the ball, bleed the clock. But if you score in that first drive of the game, at that point in the game, you could. And that's where it makes it different for me. That's where it's just –
because it would have been –
I don't love that call.
Everything created equal, it would have been 20-13, not 17-13.
Yes. And I think that I agree with you, right? Like you're going to go down there and you're going to talk about points, take the points. It makes a huge difference moving forward. Now you took the ball, you drove all the way down there, you got points. It may not be the touchdown, but you got points, right? To me, one of the most disappointing things, and this is the last disappointing thing we're going to talk about, because I really do want to talk about the positives. I really do. Is the offensive line was good, pass protecting.
No sacks.
But I really you felt like they were going to be able to, when they needed to, get some push on some of these short yardage situations when everybody in the stadium knew you were going to run it. Like, I understand new defensive coordinator for USC is known for being a run-stopping defensive coordinator. The run defense at UCLA, we touched on that before the season started, before the game started, was very good last year. He is now at USC, and you would imagine it was going to be similar. We knew it was going to be tough to run the football. They had some momentum running it, but when it gets to 3rd and 1, and everybody knows you're going to run it, which I didn't really love. That was the one play call we talked about. We didn't really love them getting to the line really quick and running it. Now, they had a 6-year senior that made a play that just he went rogue and made.
You got to play a lot. You got to play a lot of ball for you to make the play that he made, and it was not in the scheme of their defense. He actually just knifed the situation. He wasn't, but it was because he had enough feel to understand that this is what they're doing.
No doubt. And there's a couple opportunities when they had 3rd and short, 4th and short, that they tried to run the football and assert their dominance, and they did not do it. And they got stopped, and it killed the drive. So for me, it was like, damn, you want to be able to get those. If the offensive line is your strong suit, you want to be able to get those yards and those first downs. And so, to me, that was the only thing that I was really like, damn.
How do you fix that?
How do I fix that?
Like to me, the only way I really see us being able to fix that and I don't know if it's in this playbook. I don't know if it's a part of this offense, but when you no longer truly have, and I'm not saying Nuss can't run.
Get downhill.
I'm not saying that he can't do that part at all. But I think it would have to be a lot that Nuss would have to do throughout the course of the next month for people to say on film, let's start scheming to protect against the quarterback run, for people to believe it. But I think, man, if you start getting to the spot where maybe you get in a pistol and you get a little more downhill, you actually have the quarterback turn around and hand it off and get that kind of concept going into the offense to where maybe you can throw some boots into it. Maybe you can literally just throw some play action into it. But something to get that feel, because I think it's going to be tough for us to really get the run off if we don't have the threat of the quarterback run, especially it's not like it was last year. And if you're not going to do that, you're never going to keep those ends at bay. You're never going to keep 100%. Those end of the line of guys at bay, and they're always going to come down crashing hard and blow shit up.
If you don't have any threat to the outside to keep them there, they're going to keep crashing in and out.
They're unaccounted for. They're going to come and blow shit up.
Whether that's, hey, Nuss, you're going to pull it and run, or you're going to pull it and there's going to be somebody out there where you can get it to. I don't know what that situation is. I don't know if you have somebody in motion, right? Like they did a couple times where you pull it and now you're not the running back, you're not the quarterback that's going to run, but you have either a shovel or something to where somebody is keeping that defensive end outside, not able to crash down. They're going to have to figure something out.
And I only say it this way. The truth of the matter is when it comes to the running game, even though we ran for 117, even though we had that one big break by Emory, there wasn't a lot of space in there.
No.
Let's just tell the truth about it right there. We didn't create a lot of space. We didn't create a lot of lanes for us to run through. We didn't bust consistently 6, 8, maybe 12, maybe another 6.
It was hard.
It wasn't pretty when it came to that. So I'm wondering, all right, well, how do we start creating that? Because I know for a fact they have the talent and they have the ability up front to do it. How are we going to actually scheme it into being able to do it?
That's going to be something that I think that this offense is going to continue to evolve. But
and I think part of me thinks it's wrong, like wrong team, wrong time, because you ran into. We talked about Dantlin and what he's able to do with the run game and how he only gave up 3 rushing touchdowns with UCLA, and like people can look and highlight the talents. Like you had people say that because there was one first-round pick that went top 15. He changed that defense overnight from 88th to 11th, and you saw him come in with a plan to be able to stop LSU's run game because you had Will Campbell go out there and say, look, we're going to run the football. And I don't think it was a secret to USC. I don't think he spilled a game plan. But they knew that that's what LSU wanted to do, and they set out to stop it. And they played coverage over the top to where you're not going to be able to take deep shots either. So you're going to have to dink and dunk. And that's where I thought Nuss did a great job of playing very measured football and was unbelievable at fitting it into tight windows and taking throws that weren't easy.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, because now I want to talk about some of the positive things that we saw. Right?
John Emery.
If you listen,
y'all laughed at me.
Let's start with John Emery, because
10 for 61.
Hey,
Aaron Anderson, tutty,
and he was looking good. I liked Aaron Anderson. No, Anderson played
more than 15 plays. What did Jared?
I don't know. Was it?
Probably.
Well, that's what happens when Kyle Parker goes
out
the
first
series.
We had 2 receivers that are out.
And Chris Hilton's out.
That's what happened.
Chris Hilton out, and he goes out. Well, yeah.
Give me my 15.
I'm sure he's going to play 15 then.
But look, here's the deal. The way he played, I think he's gonna earn more playing time. He was going to get down. He got down the field. He was if the offensive line did an unbelievable job of giving Nuss time.
0 sacks.
Right? No sacks. That third down play in the fourth quarter where here's the deal too. If you really watch that, actually, I'm gonna get back to that. I'm gonna get back to that play.
Oh, okay.
Because
as a quarterback,
that was the first time that he let it go down the field, right? And there was a reason why he did that. And I'm going to get to that, and I want Jared to talk more about that too, because Kirk Herbstreit did a really good job of highlighting, damn, this is a really elite play by your quarterback noticing and recognizing what the defense did. The defense, what they were trying to do at USC is play 2 high safeties, force everything underneath, and say, hey, I'm going to make you be patient, and I'm going to see how patient you're going to be without trying to fit something in deep down the field. Nuss's question mark was, hey, is he going to be able to hone that in? The whole game, Nuss was able to stay disciplined. He was able to understand what they were giving him. He would wait. Boom, check down, running back, first down, underneath route, first down. Even if it didn't mean he got the first down, they had to punt it. He was not going to give in to what they wanted him to do, which I thought was a positive. That shows maturity. That shows that's understanding what the defense is trying to do. Then when it mattered, you had third down. The whole game, you had your best rush in for USC coming in the whole game. The best rushing guy they got on third down decides to drop out into the flat where the out route has been all day. Nuss looks at him, realizes he doesn't have it, slides left, buys some time, and it allows for Aaron Anderson to get open down the field, and he makes a big play down the field for 30-some yards and a first down. To me, that's maturity. To me, that's a really good quarterback. To me, that's signs of a guy who's going to continue to get better. How did you feel about Nuss?
He played well, and I also think, too, people forget. So, like, when I look at the personnel and what they have, I would imagine, for one, I was truly expecting the kid to be able to play this week. Chris Hilton was not able to play this week. But you have to understand, even though we have not seen a ton of him in uniform and really doing what he does, he is their deep threat.
Yep.
He is the one that blows the top off and he is the one that can win those 50-50 balls in those situations. He wasn't able to play. That changes things up scheme-wise a little bit. And somebody like Aaron Anderson, in my opinion, plays more like a Tyreek Hill. Yes, can he blow by you, but you're not expecting him to win jump balls in those situations. So the scheme changes a little bit when they're going to play you that way and you no longer have that guy who is the blow-the-top-off-the-guy defense. But the first touchdown to Kyren Lacy, the way they schemed that up to where it was one-on-one with that safety up there, by getting him in motion like that, that's a great scheme. That's great play calling. That's a great throw. You got the ball to your playmaker. They did a whole bunch of positive stuff in this game.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of positive stuff. Enough to where you feel good about them the rest of the season. The only reason why I say it was a bad loss, the reason why I will literally use the term bad loss is because the schedule is unforgiving, man, and it makes it really tough to be able to – I'm not saying you have to run the table, but your margin is so damn thin.
You have one more loss.
Your margin is so thin for what you have to do going forward. And that's never really where you, quote-unquote, want to put yourself, back against the wall like that first game of the season out of the gate. But nonetheless, that's where you're at right now. And you're going to find out a lot about this team. You're going to find out a lot more about how they can grow discipline-wise, because that's what it's going to take for them to get the job done that needs to be done. They no doubt have the talent. They no doubt have the ability. They no doubt have the coaching. They have the things that they need. Now you have to go out there and do it, because you got a chance to go out there and see, hey, where are we? What do we line up? Where do we stack up in this thing? And you almost walked out of there in a win in a situation where you gave up 100 yards of penalties.
Yeah.
So, it's close.
And that was the other thing, right? If you go look at the box score and you go look at the stats, team stats, and you go look at what's going on, you gave up less than 100 yards rushing. You had more penalty yardage than them. Your quarterback had a technically higher QBR. You turned the ball over once, and
that
that doesn't count, right? Like it was 8 seconds left. You weren't going to. It was very unlikely you were going to win. You had better time of possession. You had more rushing yards. You just didn't have enough points, and the reason why you didn't is because I think the 99 penalty yards you had, the 2 really bad penalties, right? Obviously, you had the targeting at the end of the game. Very unfortunate. I understand he was trying to jar the ball loose. It was a tough play. But he doesn't have that penalty. You probably make the guy kick a field goal. He was already pushed one right. He almost missed the extra point, right? So you force them to kick a field goal to win instead of giving up the touchdown. But if you look at the box score, that's why it's a bad loss, because they should have won.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest frustration from the LSU fan perspective, is you walked away from that game going, that's one that you should have had, and now you start compounding that with, it's the 5th straight opener loss and all of these things about it. I walked away going, yeah, of course I was frustrated because I saw the same things that you did. You had a chance to win that football game when you have 2 chances up 17-13 to win the football game and put it away with not very much time on the clock, considering 7 minutes left in the 4th. That's an opportunity for you to be able to win. But I also saw so many positive things from the defensive aspect to what they looked like offensively. Like all of the questions that you kind of had going in to the season were a little bit answered, and some of the things that you didn't like are easily fixable.
Tell you what you didn't see. You didn't see a lot of this.
Right. Like Ashton Stamps was a dog.
You saw a lot of guys. The defensive line felt like it was a little bit old school. Now listen,
Savion Jones played the best game he's played at.
It feels like they're a little bit old school. They were getting penetration. They were hitting the quarterback every time. And look,
Miller Moss got harassed.
And kudos to Miller Moss for staying in there and making throws when he was getting hit.
God, he loves talking to the officials though.
Whit Weeks played his ass off, right?
Perk got caught on some stunts.
No, but here's the deal. I'm glad you brought Perk up.
Led the team in tackles.
Right, led the team in tackles. People are upset because they think he's going to go and be Michael Parsons. He's not.
Well, they want to be Tyrann Mathieu and be like, you're going to change the game every time you're out there.
He's not.
It's unwarranted expectation.
Well, they think it's like a match of the two, right? Like Tyrann had an uncanny ability to, like his nose for the ball still is to this day.
You ever seen it?
Is as like clean and as good as possibly anybody we've ever seen kind of come from that position.
One of one.
Now you go to Michael Parsons. People don't also remember like, hey, I understand. We saw him sack the quarterback at an alarming rate his freshman year. LSU would be doing Harold Perkins a huge disservice at 220 pounds by lining him up on the end and telling him to go rush the passer every day. Because guess what? When he gets to the next level, he's going to get kicked out the club all day and all night. Go find me another one that's 220 doing that at that level. You won't. Michael Parsons is 250, bro. Actually, probably around like the 240 range.
Yeah.
Like, it's different. So he has to learn how to play from this spot. And Michael Parsons doesn't play with his hand in the dirt all game either. It's select times they're running him out there. He has to learn and be able to do this. And they did right by him, and that's why, once again, this playmaker has found a way to lead the team in tackles again, right? But it's because it's not what everybody wants to see and what it was in his freshman year. What are we doing with Harold Perkins? We're doing what's right with him. We're doing what's right for him. They're doing right by him right now.
And guess who else knows about Harold Perkins now? The rest of the fucking country. It's not like you can line him up like against Arkansas or his freshman year. It's like, who the fuck is this?
Right.
And like you didn't know how to game plan for him. Now they're
they started figuring out how to game plan him his freshman year.
Yeah.
And they started taking him off the field.
Yeah. They literally put him at a disadvantage to where he couldn't just rush the edge.
Right.
And then he was like, he can't play.
He wasn't on the field.
And so this is how you have to be able to play him because he's good enough to do it, but he's not always going to be in the Arkansas mold where he's going to sack the quarterback 4 times and change the game for you because they're all looking at 7. Like, don't let him break this game for you.
Yeah.
And he still found a way to have 8
tackles. That part of his
tackles.
freshman year, as much as as people don't want to admit it, when they showed up Sunday to watch tape and start breaking down the film, they were not worried about Harold Perkins and where he's at and what he's going to do. After that, that's all they're worried about when it came to that defense, and that's the first thing they worry about now, right? So it's not going to be the same, and that's okay.
Lane Kiffin said it his freshman year. He goes, what changed whenever LSU blew out Ole Miss at home? He goes, they put 40 in the game, and that's when Harold Perkins was 40.
Right.
He's like, he wrecked the game. Like, we didn't know that.
Right.
And he totally changed the game, and now you're putting him in a position where if he's able to figure it out, and you heard Brian Kelly talk about it today, where he still has his eyes everywhere. Like he's trying to do too much a little bit. He goes, if he narrows his focus, we feel excellent about what he's going to be. And I believe that. That's why I don't feel like some people are going nuts about this loss. And I know you didn't want to lose it, but this team is only going to get better.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they weren't bad.
No doubt. It wasn't a sloppy game.
And it wasn't 48-21.
That's
very
true.
well played.
This was probably the best game of the weekend. Let's be honest.
Oh, by far.
It was a very well played game by both teams.
At high level, big plays. Both wide receivers are making really good plays. Both
Competitive.
quarterbacks are making highly, very hard, tough throws. Right. You had defenses playing really well. Everything that you wanted to see in a football game, very high level.
USC's good.
You were seeing it. The difference was one team made a few uncharacteristic and undisciplined plays, and the other team didn't. And that's how the game ended up.
Maybe they just didn't get called.
No, they didn't. I mean,
I'm just talking,
some of the holdings, for sure, but those aren't undisciplined.
Walmack got blocked in the back on a huge return. It's like, what are we? This is
Deshaun
getting a little
Walmack had
crazy.
a big bat down of a pass,
yeah.
And we talked about that too. He's like, how do you, if you can't get to the quarterback because they're gonna get rid of the ball pretty quick, how do you affect them? Bat down passes, always hitting them, and they did that. They did that. So it was a very well played game by them. It was just unfortunate that They did a couple things that they didn't do quite well enough to win the game. Now, moving forward.
Here, Brennan Huff has a question real quick in the chat. What we were just saying, he's like, but that's the problem, though. They will get better, but aren't they ready week one? Like, do you understand how much change that they made from the defensive staff to...
They are ready. They were ready.
Yeah,
it wasn't about the preparation.
I wouldn't say they weren't ready, but the amount of change that they made for them to look like that, I would say is a net win, even though it was a loss, but they're going to be good.
Yeah, I don't at all look at it as they weren't not ready. Like I said from when we started the show, in my mind, it starts from the absolute top. The head honcho of this thing is that kind of discipline has to be bred and fed into them from day one to the finish. Everything else that they've done and that they've changed up in the positions and the new coaches coming in and all that stuff has been great. You could see it on the field. It's very easy to see it. There was so much more competitive play that happened. But the little knick-knack stuff that's easy to get away from, that's easy to let go, that's easy to let slide, that comes from the top, in my opinion. And that kind of stuff slid. That kind of stuff was obvious because it came out in the game. That's the stuff that kind of needs to go away. And that can happen anywhere. If you stop telling your kids to put their shoes in the closet, sooner or later, they ain't going to put the damn shoes in the closet.
Right.
It's really that simple. And I think stuff like that kind of got put to the side a little bit, and it reared his head a little bit at the end of the game.
And as far as being ready, the game plan I thought was great. I thought it was a solid game plan.
Yeah.
People talked about the play calling. I don't think the play calling was bad. I think that the play calling was dictated based off what the USC's defense was doing to LSU. Thought that was fine. I thought they adjusted well. Thought they made some adjustments. Now, they went in the second half with a game plan of we're going to pound it. And we're going to control the game with the running game. And you thought you felt like they were starting to do that with Emery and those guys, and USC was able to stop it, and it felt like it was hard for them to get back into it, and it was the flow of the game. I don't think it had anything to do with being unprepared, game planning, or any of that.
That said, I do think there's some things they could do offensively in that game where you'd have liked to have seen where if the run game was, like Jay Mitch said, like USC was primed to stop you from running the football. That was they didn't want you to throw it deep, and they didn't want to let you run the football, and they set up like that all night. And that's where I think there were some things that you did early on with Xavier Thomas, with Aaron Anderson, where it was, okay, this is an extension of the running game. If they would have continued to do that type of thing, I think you would have seen it become a little bit easier to run the football between the tackles. And it just never really manufactured itself. Then you go for it on a 3rd and 1 and go hurry up, and everybody knows what's about to happen, and you have, like you said.
See, and that's for me. So for me, once again, that's why I love taking the opportunity to get points when we can, because I feel like the real attempt to establish the run, not like just drive the game home and like kill it and bring it home. I think the real attempt to establish the run really started in the second half. Well, you start doing that, next thing you know, you're running out of time. You get what I'm saying? And we were not in a situation where you're basically winning and really pulling it. So I think that kind of puts you in a bad situation. But when you get points early, I feel like, and you let them play catch up, now when we get the ball back again, we can continue to run that kind of game and continue to do that thing. That's why I thought that part was real detrimental to what they did the rest of the game. I talked about it the entire night because I couldn't believe to open the season, to start a game, you wouldn't take the points in that situation. I don't care. Even, like, I get it, man. Like, we were inside the 5. That's another spot where you're like, yeah, maybe, but this ain't game 6.
Yeah.
We don't know who we are yet. We don't have an identity yet. Take the points, make them play catch up. They don't know who they are either right now. They got a new quarterback, too. They're trying to figure it out, too. This is a defense that's supposed to be better. We just drove it up and down the field on them. Take the points. Make them start wondering instead of us wondering because we didn't get the job done, because we did all that and left there with no points. That's what I didn't like about it.
No, I agree. All right, what's next, though?
And I agree with you because I kind of had the same sentiment of it felt like you didn't really have an identity after that game. You didn't know at least
you didn't have an identity in that drive. You didn't every time you ran it, you didn't run it down their throat. You were able to run the pop passes back and forth, and that's what you kind of went to stuff like that again for that play, and they out-schemed you on that, which kudos to them. But that's my point. Like, we don't know who we are yet. Why are we doing this right now? Kick the ball, take the points. Yeah. There's no need for that.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about, like, even like going forward, it would, and that's where I wonder if I want to see USC play for the rest of the year to see if it was a USC, like that defense is way better than
it is.
Maybe
well,
I think that, but I don't want to be biased.
I think at the end of the year, you're going to look up at the end of the year and you're like, damn, this kind of similar. I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated like Florida State did last year, but you're going to look up and you're like, damn, this team was way better than people thought they were going to coming into the season. they're going to be at the end of the year. You're going to look up and they're going to be in contention for the Big Ten because they do not play Ohio State and they do not play Oregon.
Michigan is their game.
And they play Michigan and Penn State.
And Notre Dame.
Penn State looked a lot better.
At the end of the year.
Yep.
Penn State looked a lot better, but that's still one for tradition. And we're like, I don't know if they can actually push the ball down the field. So we're not sold on them at this point either.
Right.
But that's their two biggest games, and obviously the Notre Dame game at the end of the year. And then they'll probably have to play in the Big Ten championship if they make it to that as well.
Right.
But dude, I'm telling you that team's a lot better, and I'm telling you that team played a whole lot better defense. So they're going to be in the running and in contention at the end of the year.
Now look, Miller Moss
without
is
a doubt.
good.
Yeah.
Miller Moss is
Without a
good.
doubt.
He stood in there and he took some hits and he made some really good throws. Those are wide receivers, like Jared mentioned before the weekend. They're real. You got guys who are big, physical, and you got speed everywhere at the wide receiver, and they made some tough catches.
You know, it's funny. I actually heard Kirk Herbstreit talking about this, and I was thinking about this earlier too. When you have a guy like Miller Moss, who's a fifth-year guy, who's been around, who's kind of in the system, who like he's even less of a runner than Nussmeier is, right?
Right.
Somebody who's going to run the offense like that, when that's replacing a guy like Caleb Williams, he's a magic pill, dude. Like, we could have this drawn up. He is going to find a way to get out of rhythm and make something work. Where really, I was drawing this up to be able to hit him this way and then come back and hit him that way. Well, you ran and did something crazy to make it work, and now I can't even go with the counterplay that I was going with. My point to it is a guy like Miller Moss is going to keep a play caller like Lincoln Riley more on schedule for what he wants to do, as opposed to being like, holy shit, what just happened?
Yeah.
All right, let me figure out what I want to run next type of thing, which is what somebody like Caleb Williams does for you. As great as it is, it makes it tougher to have flow. It makes it tougher to be able to go because of what he brings to the table.
I said before the game, it makes sense for that offense to have somebody that will keep you on schedule, not be a lunatic in the backfield. You're like, I mean, I love it. It's great. The talent's undeniable. But for Lincoln Riley, who I can put anybody at quarterback, it feels like for him, and be like, if you stay on schedule, we're going to be able to score points. And that's where I take a positive away for LSU again, to only give up. It's hard to say 27 because it felt like it was 20. But that last one that you gave up happened. But not a lot of people were saying under.
Right.
28-24.
I said under. You know what's wild? I could not bet on the Caesar Sportsbook app in Vegas.
Yeah, you got to. No, they do that on purpose. You have
Really?
to. Yeah, they want to keep the books hot. Dude.
So
You got to. They want to keep the old school.
So the
experience.
apps don't work there.
No, you got to go to.
Wow.
Yeah.
I figured since I'm there.
Mm-mm.
Wow. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was trying hard, and I was like, because then you got to go bet, and then
I said some things I should.
if you end up winning, if you make a future bet there live, you can't have to go back to Vegas to cash it.
If you get the ticket, you can call them.
Okay. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Been through this.
But I didn't bet it. But
I did. Then
I would've.
Then I blamed your Robert dad.
Jeez.
Well, usually that happens. Usually you hit whenever you have a.
You're
My uncle died.
You're an
and
absolute
LSU.
menace. Jesus.
Did Ty Davis Price ran for 300 yards against Florida?
So that's the
That's what
history behind it.
Yeah.
That's the statistic behind it. You are a menace, bro. You need help. Oh my
I tried to make some bets, but I just couldn't do it. And it was probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing.
I looked at Robert and Matt and I go, your dad owes me $200.
What did they say?
They laughed. They're like, we'll get it back. I was like, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my
Like,
God.
we better be a natty.
Um,
It was so much fun.
Okay, well, let's talk about moving forward future-wise with LSU this year. They don't have much more room for error. Now, this season's back to the old school season where you don't have 2 losses to give. You have one more max to be able to get through the rest of the season.
You have one more max without some crazy shit happening.
Yeah, right.
Like to feel safe about it, but not have to really lean on other results. You got really one more max. That's where you're at.
Okay, let's look. I'm not going through the schedule.
No, I'm not saying go through the schedule. I was going to say recap. I have the recap in the notes of who won and who lost through the
Right,
weekend.
who do we like that we saw in the SEC? Like, Florida stinks.
Florida State.
Florida was
that was tough.
They're
Disappointing.
disappointing.
I mean, Lagway is going to be the quarterback, no doubt, right? Like, he's got to be the guy.
It's kind of shocking they put him in.
He has to. That's the last when that happens.
Well, your boy they didn't put him in. Your boy got a concussion. He had to.
Yeah.
Last ditch effort if he starts this week and like the other guy's available. This is our number 1 guy. We got to go ride with him. figure it out.
And
Similar,
you could save your job.
similar to what happened with Richardson there whenever he started. Is it Richardson?
Anthony Richardson?
And there's when they put him in as a freshman or whatever, hey, go do it. You're the guy. You got to go and do it because save my job. Didn't work out for Mullen, but you had to do it.
I'm not worried about recruiting right now. That's what got Dan
Oh,
Mullen fired.
yeah, right. So they stink. Alabama didn't really get.
You can't tell. You can't tell.
Ole Miss can't tell.
And
Looked great.
77's a lot.
Great. Looked great. Can't really tell. Tennessee can't tell either. Quarterback looks fire though.
Yeah.
I mean, that quarterback looks like he is.
Remember I told you all that?
You did.
I sent y'all a late text. For people that don't know, I sent him a late text that night before the games were played. I'm like, hey,
Oh, he's crispy.
just letting you know before it gets out there, this man is a dog. Like a dog.
This guy
And,
is.
it looks the part. Looks the
Crispy.
part. They got a big game next week too. They play
paid
NC
him-
State next
they-
week.
Georgia is.
They gave him a 3-year deal out of high school. I'd imagine that they thought they saw something they liked.
Georgia's a wagon.
That
Yeah.
defense is so good.
Yes.
So is that offense.
And well, Roddy White had the quote of the weekend.
He's still going on it today.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
not
still doing it
dude,
today.
he's not backing down at all. Yeah, you can't be having all them white boys at skill position and expect to win. He goes, name a team that has.
You know what's wild to me? Clemson, not one transfer portal guy.
Yeah, that's Dabo's calling card.
Wild to me.
He's running a boarding school.
Not one transfer.
A&M loses.
3 schools, I think. Army, Navy, Clemson.
Yeah.
Not one.
Crazy.
Tell me how you fix it like that. Like, what's going on here?
Got the name, image, and likeness of
Texas.
Christ.
Texas looked good. Obviously doesn't count. Can't really tell. Notre Dame.
That's what I'm saying. A&M. That's a home game.
Yeah. Now they're saying that Wegman was hurt. You know, was sick. He was sick.
With what?
You know, defensively A&M played better, looked more physical, but offensively they didn't have it.
Marcus Freeman set the tone for that game.
Yeah, he
That
did.
was unbelievable entrance.
Yeah, he did.
That's what LSU used to look like.
Notre Dame looked good. A&M didn't look great. Ole Miss we talked about.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like LSU obviously played the game of the weekend when you have a legitimate top, I would say now like top 15 matchup of week 1. Everybody else, like Texas A&M did the same thing, and you got beat. I would say, I don't know how much you can take from that Notre Dame game, but it was very impressive for them to go out there without a left tackle, all of the woes around the offensive line, go out there and kind of assert your dominance in an away game where it felt like A&M was geared up to try to win it. Like they didn't think they were losing that game. They thought they were the better team.
No doubt. But with that being said, I think
So
that
Notre Dame is pigeonholed into the 5 seed. They just did it. They don't play anybody else but Miami.
they play
USC, excuse me.
USC. So they play, and look, Miami looked good. You know,
Cam Ward looked good.
It's going to be
A shit show.
He's gonna look good, and then there may be games where he throws 4 interceptions.
He did it. You saw it when he threw across his body, across the field.
Who was it Joey Gallo? Someone was like, I would love to see him throw the football more with 2 feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Like this man is fade away, jump throwing, but he's getting there.
Yeah.
He just feels like he's older than everybody else on the field.
Yeah.
Listen to me. There's gonna be a time where he's gonna go and jump and do some 360 throw, and there's gonna be nobody there but defense. Like, but he's super
But
talented.
he's electric.
He's electric, right? They look good. I think Ole Miss needs to play somebody that's decent for us to really get a look on. I think they are
they're a good
really
team.
good.
They're a real good
They
team.
are good. They're going to be really good. They have a veteran quarterback. They have a really good wide receivers. They finally have beefed up their defensive line to make it to where they're going to be able to compete up front.
Kentucky will be a fun game.
Is that the only tough one they play before?
Kentucky, South Carolina are the 2 SEC games before
So
LSU.
South Carolina's a common opponent. So that'd be a good one to say, listen, what LSU look like against South Carolina, what's Ole Miss look like against South Carolina? It's not going to really mean much other than the fact that at least you're looking against a common opponent.
Well, South Carolina won 23-19 against Old Dominion.
Barn burner.
Old Dominion's good though. If they put in that backup, I played with them.
Hey,
this
you know
year.
all about.
I
Old
know
Dominion.
all about Old Dominion.
All about.
Sneaky.
Didn't work for you.
No. What if they?
I was
the
just
same?
I was just looking through it, and that's one thing that. So until 2000, up until 19, so it's not counting. It's not even counting 19 because that was the last time we won a first game of the season. From 2003 to 2018, I want to say 10 out of those I think it's 18 years, 10 out of those 17 years, LSU didn't have a loss going into October. So we've gotten so used to seeing teams that are successful early on, and then obviously over the last 5 years, it's been tougher opponents. Not saying that you should lose those games, but it's uncharted territory and unfamiliar territory in the past 25 years when you think of like LSU football. But that's kind of where it's been. But this team, even over since Brian Kelly's been here, even when you had an SEC champion contender 2 years ago, even when you had a Heisman winner last year, this team looked the best on opening day.
I agree.
Compared to the last 3 years.
Yeah.
By far. It's not. I don't even think it's close. This team looked the best. This team looks like there is a high ceiling for this team. You just backed yourself in a corner where it's going to be tough to do.
It looks like out of the last 3 seasons, it looks like the most complete team LSU's had in the last 3 seasons.
I think that was the frustration from BK.
Yeah.
He was shocked. Whoa, hey. That's what my eyes feel like. So that's definitely on Sunday.
That's what I feel like all weekend in Vegas.
But that was definitely, I think, part of the, I guess, Brian Kelly's aura on the press conference. Was I think he was surprised they lost because he felt like they had a pretty good football team, and that's why the press conference he did today, I was pretty impressed with.
I didn't get to listen to it.
Yeah, but I wanted to. Like, it was when it was a tune-in. Yeah, I know. But it was a tune-in one, like, to see how he addressed some of the, like, what he said at that press conference after the game and to see how we kind of bounced back a little bit. It doesn't feel like a lot of confidence in Chris Hilton. They're still trying to figure out if he can. They're treating him very much.
Did he mention anything about Kyle Parker?
Yeah, he has a ulnar radius. The ligament slipped off, so it's not a 1 week thing; it's a 3 week thing. But he made an extreme point to say, look, if Chris Hilton was playing any other position, he would probably be ready, but they're kind of treating him like a track guy, where it's like he has to feel 100% to do what we need him to do, which is stretch the field vertically.
Yeah.
But he was like, what we have to get ready is Shelton Sampson. So
he said that?
Yes. So because Kyle Parker's out, and you felt like you kind of did forced a little bit with Xavier Thomas, Aaron Anderson. You were missing, like, Kyle Parker was getting involved early.
Yeah.
And that's how he got hurt.
He got the third down play on the goal.
Yeah,
he was the one where
he was
they tried to get him in the end zone.
That's where he got hurt.
Yeah. They tried to get him in the end zone.
And I think that kind of, when you look at that LSU
it
offense,
sucks because
I agree, and I don't. He would have to be in pain to not play. I know that he would have chopped that thing off.
You can see this.
He tried to fix it.
He couldn't open his arm. He couldn't
He was trying to move it back. He just slide that thing back over, but that's what I'm saying. It felt like it kind of hamstrung LSU offensively a little bit, to where, like, damn, all right, we game planned for Chris Hilton, he's not there. Game planned for Kyle Parker, and we're going to use him this way. Then it became a mash of Xavier Thomas, Aaron Anderson in a different role than that they wanted to utilize, and now it's, okay, if neither one of those guys can go, Shelton Sampson better be ready because he is your next best vertical threat.
Yeah, I agree. Being able to find that part of the game and putting that back into it is going to help them a lot. Like we said, USC did a good job of being stubborn. They were not going to allow you to get into that kind of play, and they did that, and they were able to kind of pigeonhole you into playing how they wanted. And I still think this LSU team played well.
Yeah,
there's some things they're going to have to clean up. Mostly, to me, some discipline stuff. There is an opportunity. You just backed yourself into a hole.
The best thing that can happen for LSU is for USC to do exactly what Florida State did, and LSU continue to get rid of the undisciplined stuff, and just continue to do this, because you have now 3 weeks against opponents that you're going to be favored against. And 4 weeks. 4 weeks. You got Nicholls next week. You got UCLA after that. No, South Carolina on the road, then UCLA, then South Alabama. Correct? And then bye week, then Ole Miss.
Yeah, you play October 12th.
Right. So
that's a
you have four
month.
games. You have 4 games.
Yeah.
To be able to go out and figure this stuff out, right this ship, get everybody healthy for the biggest game. To me, the Ole Miss game this year is the biggest game of the year on the schedule, outside of even bigger than Alabama.
I'd agree.
You can't do anything that you want to do until you get through the Ole Miss game. And you're going to go against familiar foes and Pete Golding on the defensive side, and obviously Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's got the best team he's probably had.
I would honestly disagree with that. I don't think it's the biggest game on the schedule, and the reason why I don't think it's the biggest game on the schedule is because it happens in October. Let's be honest. If you lose that game in October and you run the rest of that run the rest of the table, right?
But do you think that if you
No, I'm not saying I think you can, but I'm saying the opportunity's still there, and you can. When you lose games in November, those stick on the mind of people way harder than they do on the mind of people when you lose them in October. So it's a big game. Yeah, of course you would love to win it, but let's be honest. Knowing that you probably got wiggle room for one more, you can't be looking forward to anything more than what's next week. And that's not coach speak or whatever. It is what it is. But I still think, okay, we get that one in October. Well, you still going to be looking forward to that one in November saying like, shit.
And I'm not discounting that one at all. I'm just saying that the one in October is the biggest test that you're going to have until then, and you're going to have to be able to
that's fair.
That's why I say it's the biggest game.
But, for what you have sitting on that schedule in November, to me, it's hard for me I don't care if they end up being the best team that you play this year. I don't think that that's the biggest game simply because of when it sits on your schedule and who you have on the schedule ahead after that through the rest of the year.
Think that I understand it 100%. The only reason I'm not even saying necessarily talent-wise. The reason I say it is strictly based off the confidence of making the run. Of winning games and not slipping up because
Y'all are both right.
Lose your second biggest game of the season at the time. You lost to USC.
You can't.
You have them at home and you lose it. I don't know if they're going to be confident enough to be able to get through the rest of the schedule.
So then, and that's why I love that you bring that up because let's say you win that game and then you don't lose your second game until either Alabama and/or Oklahoma. Do they have the confidence to overcome that and go do what they need to do from there? So that's why I don't think it's the biggest game because there's such big tests after that game that I'm just like, yeah, you obviously need this one. That's one you would love to be on. But there's so much more meat on the bone after that game that I don't look at that game as the mecca of the season, if you will.
Yeah. It's not really even a confidence thing for me. It's if you look at the playoff thing for me. Like the next time you'll see LSU on a national stage, like legitimately, will be Ole Miss. And if you drop your two biggest games, then it's easy to write LSU off. Now,
but it's not because that's why the schedule's set up the way. That's what I said. That's why the schedule's set up the way it is. Yeah, that's why
I know that's what I'm saying. That you're both right.
I'm not disagreeing either. I'm just, in my opinion, it
just feels like it would be a great win if you.
It's a huge win.
Yeah,
it's not like.
But yeah, if you had to pick one, if you say.
I want to be playing my best ball late, so I'm not picking a game in the middle of the season.
If you want to beat Ole Miss or do you want to beat Oklahoma? I would much rather lose to Ole Miss and beat Oklahoma because at the end of the year, if you lose that last game and that's your second loss,
right.
It's like first thing you remember.
It's the first thing on people's mind. Exactly. That's where I'm at.
And Oklahoma looked good.
That's why I'm on.
That's what I'm saying. You're both
I get
right.
it, dude. The Ole Miss game.
That's why you should have beat USC.
It's super enticing and it looks great and it's one that you circle on the schedule. But for me, it's not the biggest circle I put on the schedule, or the one I highlight the most that's on the schedule, because there's such big games and big implications after that game.
I 100% get that. I just
I see both sides.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it does feel like even after what you did against USC, it feels like you're going to steamroll Nicholls, win at South Carolina.
Hopefully they steamroll the teams that they steamroll, and it looks good doing it going into that game.
Because I can tell you this, like I can go back and remember just in my mind. Just to give you kind of a thought, like I guess this is where this thought comes from, but I can remember an LSU team that went to Florida and got steamrolled in October. Went to Florida and got beat 40-something to 14 in October. And that team still won 11 games and played in the Sugar Bowl, right? So, like, I can't – looking at that game, if you only worried about that game, bro, there is so much meat still left on the bone. That's why it's so much more to me, like, after that game. That's just me.
Yeah, you lose it, you got to win out. Like, that's to get the 11. I get it. Yeah. I get it. You know what I mean? You're going to have to – you got zero room for error at that point if you lose that one. You're going to have to win out.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
And if Ole Miss is a wagon, then you could technically you can drop it. It would just be another one of those, like, that's when the narrative starts. Like, nationally, can Brian Kelly win the big football game?
You're looking at a spot now where you need, honestly, truthfully, you need this USC team to be
good,
to be a really good team.
No.
That's what you need.
And I think they're going to be.
I do too.
I think the schedule sets up well for them. I think that they're better than people think they're going to be. I think people are shocked on how much better their defense is this year than it was last year.
They ain't going to score 27 very often. It's going to be 47.
They're going to score points. Yeah. Those wide receivers are going to be dangerous.
Woody Marks is good.
Who? Yes,
the running back.
He is. Their offensive line played well.
They're physical.
They are more physical than they've been in the past.
Yeah. Yep.
And that defense is real. So
that's an improved ball club.
Yep.
That's 100%
no doubt.
True.
And they're probably saying the same thing because either one could have won that game. and they're like, damn, that defense was better than I thought.
Team
if you're on
impre-
USC's side.
What's the team that impressed you most outside of the SEC?
Outside of the SEC.
Georgia
Lord, who you
Tech
got?
for me.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I think
I'll be honest with you.
I think they're gonna win the ACC.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think they're gonna win the ACC, but I think they're gonna upset some other teams and do some kind of crazy stuff just because of what they got there. Boston College looked
Boston
good,
College, too.
man. I'm
Plus
being
7.
honest
I'm
with
not
you.
saying like they're
No.
national.
I don't think they're a playoff
You
team.
could have got them at plus 17 if you wanted them.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm not saying they're gonna. I'm not saying they're gonna win. Like
I don't think they're a playoff team, but I
Yeah.
just think that they're gonna upset somebody else this year. That ain't gonna be happy that they lost to them.
Bill O'Brien's in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah.
And that quarterback's crazy.
I literally watched that game, and I felt like Bill O'Brien just said, "Hey, Norvell, I'm gonna take you to school, kid. I'm gonna teach you some stuff real quick. I'm gonna show you how this thing's really done."
You're in
like I feel like he
trouble.
out-schemed him up and down that ball game, every which way he possibly could, and then took his bag and said, "I'm going home after this." Like that's literally what it felt like had happened in that game.
Yeah, I mean, there's really like you didn't really get a.
Florida State's in trouble.
Florida State's in trouble. Miami looked better than I thought they were gonna be.
Yeah.
If Miami keeps doing what they're doing, they're gonna be a
Yeah.
problem as well.
Yeah, because
The
that
way their
quarterback.
schedule sets up too. Like these are teams that this is what makes you, if you want LSU in the playoff or think that that's why it's such a, if you want to be negative about it, that's why losing the first game is such a detriment. You have teams that are set up with their schedule that don't have LSU's schedule. Miami doesn't have a very hard schedule. Notre Dame doesn't have a very hard schedule.
Right.
Like those
Yeah.
types of
And
teams, USC doesn't have a very hard schedule.
Yeah.
Like those type of teams are going to start eating up spots, and then you're going to look back and Notre Dame gets the 5th seed.
Yeah. There's one other team for me too that I'll be honest with you, every other year they've been wash, rinse, repeat, the third best team in their conference. I don't care how it shakes, whatever happens. It's pretty much how it's happened every year. But because of the way they threw the ball and the way they're still playing defense the way they have in the past, is Penn State real this year?
Right.
Are they real? Is
Because
Penn
West
State real this
Virginia
year?
was a popular bet.
It was
No.
Steamrolled them
And they did.
yes,
in Morgantown.
steamrolled them in Morgantown
after the rain delay.
and that was their
Still whipping your ass.
that was the narrative around Penn State. Is like they don't win big games, and that was. I mean, did y'all see the video I sent you when West Virginia was fighting them in the pregame? Like the fans were just kicking people's ass. I was like, God, this is a fist fight.
Yeah.
And they went into that environment and won even after a rain delay. The other one that I thought was impressive was Nebraska. Like that, Raiola's real.
Yeah. No, he is. And, Matt Rule's known to have.
I bet
Good
the over on the
offenses and-
wins.
I'm looking at the future schedules. This coming week, there's really not many.
No, this was the banner weekend.
Yeah, there's week 2, they don't really have many matchups. Week 3, obviously
It
LSU
kicks off
goes to
again.
South Carolina. The other big one is Boston College plays Missouri. At Missouri. So Boston College will probably be ranked by then, you would imagine, if they don't, slip up. I don't know who they play next week. They play Duquesne. So
Duquesne?
don't slip up against Duquesne. And then you got at Missouri. I think that's going to be a good matchup. We talked about how impressive they were. That quarterback is,
Shifty.
shifty is a good word. Is he going to be able to sustain that all year? Who knows? But they put it on Florida State.
That was
DJ
never
Uiagalli's not
close.
good.
DJ U's, that's tough, man.
Not good. Didn't look good at all.
DJ Uiagalli is not good at all.
And he
And
had,
I'm
he had
wondering, too.
opportunities to win that football
Hey, you know
game
what's weird
with
too? Is
wide
like
open throws.
you watch him play. Yeah, you watch him play, and there's some throws that he makes that are big time throws, some wide open throws that he misses, and some like what on earth were you thinking? I'm just kind of like wondering like where he's at between the years, like what kind of leader he is, because there's no
Doesn't
way
seem like
you
he's
can
one.
coach up someone like Jordan Travis to get to where he got him at, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't fit with this guy as well. You know what I mean? Like there's some disconnect there, and it just doesn't seem like he's able to take that leader role at that spot and do what he needs to do.
And he tried to do it in the preseason when they invited him to the ACC Media Day, and he was like, I don't want to go because I haven't been on the team. Like, that is for people that have been here before, and I want them to represent Florida State. And that's the right thing to say, I guess.
Yeah.
Or you could look at it and say, scared.
Hey, on a different note, Jack Bash made a big appearance this week.
He did.
6 catches, 139 yards.
Undertaker.
139.
dude.
I heard his name a couple times. Yeah, almost got in the
grave?
zone. Almost got in the end zone. Yeah, I
He
saw
did get
that.
in the end zone.
Oh, he did.
6 for 139 and a tud.
I saw him get tackled at like the one other time too as well.
Yeah. He's their guy. He's healthy,
And
confident.
sorry for your boy Walker Howard got passed up on the depth chart.
I know.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's what happened. I feel like it's a one-way train when you date the coach's daughter.
Who's their backup?
He's a freshman, third string. Now second string.
Oh, the 17-year-old kid, is it?
Yeah.
Or is he the third? Or is he like the?
No, he jumped the.
Dude, there's a 17-year-old kid who graduated. I think he reclassified 2 years.
Goal.
And is in college right now.
That's the backup.
That's the backup right now, yeah. And he looked pretty good throwing them. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Damn.
I was like, oof.
It is tough.
Oof.
It's a tough situation right there.
That's fine. Austin Simmons, Walker Howard 0 for 2. Austin Simmons got in.
So, Walker Howard came in as a third string?
Yeah. Hey, that's okay, dude. If you play this thing right.
What are you trying to say? He's gonna be the quarterback coach or something in 2 years?
Yeah, you just marry the coach's daughter, and you're on the money.
You're right.
Everything that you wanted is still right in front of you.
I don't think that's what he wanted.
I'm rooting.
Hey, you made your choice.
I'm not sure that's what he wanted when
I'm
he went
rooting
there.
for him. I am rooting for him.
The transfer?
I'm just rooting for him. Like, I don't know how it works out, but yeah.
He seems happy, though.
I hope.
I hope.
I hope so, too.
He should have just gone to TCU.
That don't make sense. But, anyway. Good first weekend of college football.
I know, this is going to be...
What other best
college
did you-
football does
what-
this to you every time.
What other bets did you place?
LSU really got me good. I thought
I lost $40 on the betting because I won the. Boston
really put a
College
lot of
game.
stock in your uncle.
Jesus, dude.
And I thought it was going to pan out. It didn't. So we'll be back.
I didn't even get to bet the under of LSU because I thought I could just do it there. Didn't do it.
But Boston College, obviously, I had him plus 17 and money line. That worked out very well for me. Other than that, had a great Thursday. Had Howard football. I told you I was going to bet him.
Did you?
Yeah, won that. So
Good for you.
I was 3-1 on Thursday, then 0-5 on Saturday.
Well, we got on Colorado. We never even talked about Colorado game.
They still look like they were getting pushed around a little bit defensively. Shadur's real.
Yeah.
Shadur's for real.
He's got two receivers that are real.
Travis Hunter's real.
I'm wondering.
Is that Joe Horn's son?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. I just want to see. Look, don't get me wrong.
The second son.
You know what happens at
Joe Horn Jr. Didn't he?
Yeah.
Went to South Carolina.
No, this is Junior, I think.
Jackie Horn, Joe
I
Horn.
thought he was someone who's different.
Either way, it doesn't.
Either way.
I could be wrong. Either way, I know it's a son. This is what does happen at teams at schools like North Dakota State. Let's be honest. When you start, think about that one high school in your area that always won, even if it didn't matter what name was on the back of the jersey, they just wash, rinse,
John
repeat.
Curtis.
They're able to do it, right? That winning tradition and ability and doing things right gets passed down. No matter if it's not in the family, cousins, whatever it is, complete strangers, you just learn how to do things like that. I want to see how they play against a team that does not have, obviously that kind of winning tradition, that does not have that kind of coaching and stuff going on, and kind of see what it looks like from there. Because the defense kind of got pushed around. They kind of gave up some. They played really well on offense. They were able to stay in the game way more than what I thought they would really, really, truly do throughout the entire 60 minutes. I want to see where it goes, but Shadur's real.
So
Colorado, Nebraska this week. That's a
good one.
Circle me
wow,
game.
so
That's a good one.
Jimmy Horn Jr. no familiar ties with Joe Horn.
I thought it was his son.
So they have a Joe Horn Jr.
He went to South Carolina.
Went to Missouri Western State.
Oh,
I
draft.
don't think that's Joe Horn's son.
This is just the Saints lineage coming out. It's there must be a son.
What?
I'm confused.
I thought he had a kid for sure.
He does. I'm typing in Joe Horn's son.
Oh, Paul's here.
Hurley.
Do you think he knows?
No. J.C. Horn.
J.C. Yo,
He did
yeah,
go to South-
no,
he did go to
South
South
Carolina.
Carolina.
Corner
Thank
there,
you.
yeah.
Dude, I told you. I
knew
knew
he
I
had a
was all
son.
over it.
I knew he had a son.
Great player.
Is he ready?
Really
Yeah,
good.
he's here. Oh, he's got he figured out Zoom real quick.
He's coachable.
He's coachable.
He's coachable. Oh, I'm losing my earphones.
I don't give you. Yep, we got Coach.
right.
Whenever y'all are ready.
We're ready.
We're ready.
I got a little. Oh, hold on, Coach.
Where's my snare?
I have no snare in my headphones. All right, he's here.
Coach Maneri, welcome back to the show. I know we had a little snafu on the last time. We're taking a break from talking college football because we've talked too much about LSU losing for the 5th straight season. We're excited to have you back on. I would love to come to South Carolina to play some golf with you in a couple weeks, but we're not. I don't know if we're going to make it to early tea time. How's it over there? How's the transition to another SEC school? We still love you over here. We're never going to forget about you, and we're just pumped to see you over there. Oh wait, hold on, Coach.
He's got to turn his audio on.
Are you on mute? Lloyd? You got nothing?
I got nothing.
Crickets.
How's this happened twice?
Not bumping.
Hold on, Coach. Hold on. This is us.
He's bumping over here.
This is our fault this time. Hold on 1 second.
No. We're plugged in. Everything's good.
Why is it not working? If it's bumping, how is it not working?
Let's see. Hold on. Let me hop in the Zoom.
Coach, this is us. We got a new studio, so hold on.
Let me get you up.
It's probably because they just don't want us to talk to South Carolina coaches.
So is somebody bugging the lines right now?
It's crazy.
That's what it is.
Hold on. Give me a second.
We're working on it.
Coach, stay right there. Don't you go anywhere.
He can hear us.
Let me pop this thing.
Is there something I need to tell him to do?
I don't know.
You text him and see if he's on mute. But you said you heard him. Or you saw it moving.
I just saw him moving. Audio settings.
Here.
Yeah, there's our speaker.
Hey, can you double check just to make sure it's not on mute? He's not on mute.
He's not on mute.
Oh, I can kind of hear. Wait, oh, that's.
He's
over
talking
here.
to them.
Yeah.
He's talking on the phone. That's the worst.
Hold
Yeah.
on.
Can you
Hold
still
on, I
nothing
can
in your
hear you
headphone?
through the computer.
It's coming through the
No, I was
computer.
trying to check with them to see, and you can hear us, right?
So I can hear him coming through the computer.
All right, cool. That's fine.
All right, Coach. This is a little bit of what I was worried about because I know we had some studio. Oh, there he is. I can hear you in the computer. Give me one more second. Oh.
We're cursed.
Well, while this is going on, what are you expecting to see out of Saints this weekend? That's the real question.
The
They're going to
Saints?
play this weekend. Are you expecting to see something different, more of the same? Are you expected to come away surprised? Are you expected to come away encouraged?
I think you got to win this first one because you're playing a team that you're supposed to beat. You should beat.
Should be.
Um,
Your favorite in this game, for sure.
What I want to see is I want to see the offense
Be cohesive.
Yes, Booming.
In my ear.
So weird.
Oh, that's what I hope. Some cohesiveness.
I'm ready. I'm ready for some football. You got the Saints this weekend.
Lot
Feels
of-
weird because today's Tuesday instead of Monday, so
You got
there's actually
Thur- you got
football coming
Thursday
in
and
2
Friday.
days and on 3. Yeah, Thursday and Friday.
Yeah. And then full slate on Sunday. Fantasy football on Wednesday.
Football's really figured out the formula, huh? They
Yeah,
found a
every
way
day.
to start giving it to you
Every day.
every day.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
You only
Monday.
get your team like once a week, but you're starting to get it now.
Coach. It's wrong. This is what happened last time. Fuck.
I don't know. I was going through the computer. Yeah, it wasn't. It's not the Zoom. It was the. I think this is happening on our end. Coach, we'll call you. We'll sign out and call back in.
Yeah.
Sorry. We are cursed.
No, I think that there's a bunch of stuff moved around. I'm not blaming anybody because we got good work done, but I think it got unplugged, and then it has a hard time figuring out the next, like how to reassign itself to the headphones.
Well, the studio looks great. Great job.
We're visually better.
Problem is when stuff gets unplugged, it's just you don't know how it's going to affect anything. But visually it looks great. I hope everybody loves our show, the new studio. If we have to do this again and try to get them on again, we can do it. But
I think we also own the Mik'd Up show from South Carolina.
no doubt. No doubt.
Sorry, boys. I don't know what's going on.
No, it's okay. It happens. Part of it. Speaking of, hey, who'd you copy and paste these rankings from?
CBS, I think.
They don't like LSU.
No.
Boy, this is the excerpt of LSU's deal is not good.
Now that you said that too, anybody just happened to catch? I don't remember exactly who it was, but that now has the CBS game. That was so weird listening to
What?
Danielson and Vern.
No, Vern's not there anymore.
Not Vern. Danielson and the other guy covering not covering the SEC.
Who does? Who is he?
I think they had a Big Ten game. Wow. It just sounded way different.
So weird.
It was weird as hell listening to that.
I didn't really get to watch or listen to many of the games.
That's true. You probably it was going, but you're not actually getting the
Right.
audio from it. Yeah, they did. I'm pretty sure it was Big Ten, and it was so weird because that was our childhood. That's what we grew up to. Where it was the Saturday afternoon game has always been a SEC game. So they knew the league, they knew the coaches, they knew everything in and out of it, and then like that.
That's
flipped
crazy.
It was weird. It was
wild.
definitely different listening to it.
Do you want me just to not have him back on today? He's here. Oh, he's back in. How do we fix it last time? I don't remember. Joe. You did it. Next time we'll have notes. When this happens, this is what we do.
Literally.
What else are we going to talk about? Filibuster's thing.
Remember my guy from Arizona, the receiver. 300 yards.
Is that a good day? It's a good half of the season right there.
Looks the part, too. He came in
I
with a
didn't
lot
get
of
to
hype.
watch it. They're ranked.
They are. Higher than us.
Yeah, they're good. They're supposed to be good.
He came in with a lot of hype, and he looked the part the other night. I mean, I get it. They weren't really playing anyone, but he did a lot of different stuff to accumulate the numbers he did. It wasn't just like go balls all day. So
Yeah.
it'd be curious to see how that goes because he looked good. Because he's Millen.
Who's their quarterback? They have a guy that transferred in.
I forget that kid's name. Noah Fafita. I don't know. Don't know the answer to that.
Can anybody beat Georgia?
Can anybody beat
Do you
Georgia?
think they lose a game this year?
Crazy. It's hard to answer that after 1 week. They did look really good. You're gonna have to be supremely talented on offense to beat Georgia. You're gonna have to be able to do some. You're gonna have to be able to hold the ball and have some time of possession in there as well, because their defense is really good. They're obviously only gonna get better on offense. They were missing running backs. They're new. There's a couple new guys on offense, but man, they look good.
That guy starts good.
They look good, and don't get it twisted. Yeah, he is. Don't get it twisted either. Like, I'm not sold on Clemson as a team, but the defense, especially up front, is still a good defense.
Yeah.
They got dominated.
They kept it tight second half.
They ran away with it.
Yeah.
So it's I mean,
Clemson dead.
If they don't get in the portal, they are.
They ain't getting in the portal now this year. They're dead this year.
No. That's what I'm saying. If they don't start getting in the portal going forward, yeah. But I don't. Yeah, I don't know. No. He's done too much there to be going to possibly. Bro, they were in the playoffs 6 times over those 10 years. He ain't going anywhere. The thing is, different world. I agree. The thing is that conference, the way it's set up and how it is, and the teams that are in it right now. We've already mentioned Boston College. We've already mentioned Miami. We've already mentioned Georgia Tech.
Florida State stinks,
but like, what if they turn it on? And you got Clemson. Like, that conference is wide open.
Yeah.
Ain't no telling who's gonna come out of that thing at the end of it. Yeah. So it's gonna be one of those ones where you're like, like we don't see. We just named 6 teams that we can't legitimately say pencil them into the ACC championship, let alone pencil them into the playoffs. We can sit here right now and it's Georgia's in the playoffs.
Yeah. Here's something that we didn't mention about USC. I think they're good. I think they are going to be a chance to win the Big Ten, but they're going to have to travel from USC to Maryland to play a conference game, right? Like, they're going to have a lot of travel, more travel than maybe anybody in the country.
I'm wondering how much that'll affect them, especially this year. It's all new to them. They don't know anything about. Maybe it affects them a lot in year one. Maybe it starts to affect them more down the line once you start hearing stories and people talk about it and like, oh, well, this is this and this is that. Maybe, I'm not sure. That's going to be an interesting part of what plays into how they go about doing things this year. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of travel. I mean, they're going from West Coast to East Coast.
That's all those West Coast teams. Yeah, that's Oregon as well. That's UCLA as well. They're all a part of that kind of travel and having to do all that stuff. So
True.
It'll be interesting to see how they deal with that and how they're able to
Anybody hear me?
Because that's something brand new to them.
I got you, Coach.
Hello.
We're back.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Coach, you there?
Mikey?
Coach, can you hear us?
Oh, no, I can't hear him.
Oh, he can't hear us.
Okay, hold on.
Hold on.
I can't hear you.
Hold on.
Okay, now go.
Coach? Oh,
No.
Hold on.
We're close. I don't know what's going on.
We got to him, though. We had it. Close.
We had it as audio. Now we got the echo.
Now we had the echo because he couldn't hear us. Coach?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, but there's an echo.
One second.
We're sitting in Yosemite National Park right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm sorry about this, fellas. I don't know what's going on.
Do we just try to do this again?
Try again.
Coach?
Okay, that's his volume.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
No, this is
Hello.
Yeah, this isn't good. We'll try again, Coach. I'm sorry to do this to you. Gosh dang it.
Text him. Tell him that we changed our studio.
Yeah, something got unplugged.
We had some technical difficulties. This is our fault this time.
Check. All right, now try. One more time.
Hello, Mikey.
You got him? Put your headphones in.
Coach?
Hello, Mikey.
Coach?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you a little bit. You're
I can hear you fine.
okay.
Can we get some volume, or is that?
We're getting one thing at a time.
So not going there.
Come on, Lois.
I'm trying, Coach. That's the wrong one. Let's go this one. Coach?
No.
Yep. Nope.
Got me? Oh.
There's that going.
All right, I can't figure it
Coach.
out. I'm not smart enough to do this.
We're gonna do it off the
But
air.
Coach, you sound great.
You sound amazing, and you look amazing. You look amazing. I love you. We'll do it again. This is our time. It's our fault. This is our fault. I'm sorry. You're the best. You're the best. You look great. We miss you.
Talk to you soon, Mikey.
Thank you, dude.
We're gonna try again.
My bad,
Damn.
boys. I don't know
Sorry.
what happened. I know, whenever some things get moved around in the studio, it usually causes a bit of a ruckus.
I can't get mad because this was our fault in the sense of we have a beautiful new studio. We're working on it. We're doing some technical difficulties happen. We appreciate everybody staying patient with us. We are going to try to get him
That
on
was
again.
all time,
Yes.
though.
We're
We
gonna
will.
make him. We're gonna make him.
Boy, we owe him big
We're
next
gonna
time.
make
Yeah,
sure
that was on us.
No doubt. Last time was on him. This time on us. Now we
I was close. I
figured you
was
almost got
cooking
it.
over
You
here.
texted him, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
My bad.
Sorry
Coach.
about that. No. Oh, sorry about that, everybody. Whoever stayed with us through this, I apologize.
Oh, it's great radio.
But let's get to now. We might as well just get to the Seggies at this
Bring
point.
it on home at this point.
Yeah, at this point, we might as well bring it on
I
home.
know. I'm sorry, boys. Damn,
Mistake
man.
of
A
the
lot
day.
of good football talk, though.
Great football talk. We got a lot more coming up. Listen, we may have 3 straight days of shows, by the way.
I'm in.
Because Friday, I guess we'll have another live show on Thursday. Because on Friday, I'll be stuck in seminar from
What
8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. How cool does that sound?
Sounds like fun.
Sounds great. But we'll be here live normal tomorrow, and then on Thursday, we'll do it again. Lloyd, you got a mistake of the day?
I do have a mistake of the day, and this has been very much chronicled on Twitter.
And my voice will be back probably tomorrow, so I'll have a little bit more.
Oh, you
pizzazz.
gave a lot to it today.
Yeah.
I appreciate the effort.
You should have heard me when I first woke up.
Gaw.
Oh, the Wasp is back.
Couldn't find the gun. But mistake of the day brought to you by
Dozy
Plays.
Plays.
So there's something. Yeah, I got to figure that out. Mistake of the day brought to you by Dozy Plays. So after Florida State lost their first game of the year to Georgia Tech, there is a vaunted Florida State fan who's at 321 Knoll, and on Twitter, he vowed that he would eat. If Florida State loses to BC this weekend, I will eat dog shit out of a red Solo cup with a spoon and post a video of me doing it. Book it. And everybody and their mother has been looking for him because he signed off of Twitter. He deleted his account. He deleted his TikTok. He deleted his Instagram. And he's been on the loose.
Did they know his name, or was it a fake name?
People started to find him. So I have a video here of Jack Mack, who does great work
For Barstool.
for Barstool. And he's a sleuth. Like, this is a job that if I were better at it, I would love to be in this camp. I can't play the audio because I don't trust the audio. But he did some sleuthing, found him, and was able to track him down, got him to sign back up for Twitter, and now he has said, I'm not eating shit, guys. Sorry. And I still think that there's an opportunity here where he should.
I was about to fly at me.
I think you kind of have to live up.
What a show we got today.
I think you have to eat the shit.
At least like pretend.
Scott
like
Van Pelt has tweeted about it.
He
Josh
mentioned
Pate.
him on the show last night.
Josh Pate, the Big Cat for Barstool.
At least like pretend that
No.
like you're eating shit.
I think you just have to. It's going to be bad for a couple of seconds.
I think more than that.
Yeah, probably more than that.
Because you may be get some like intestinal disease or some
that's
shit.
not, yeah, that's not good, Coach.
Oh,
That's a mistake of the day. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a good one.
we're panicking in here. This thing is alive. I see it.
Can you find the gun?
Yeah, I can.
All right. Okay, we got Curtain Calls. Curtain Calls brought to you by our friends at Curtain Calls.
Oh, curtain call. Here we go.
Curtain call. We got
I'll give
brought to you
you-
by our friends at Mead Heavy Civil.
There you go. I'll give you the first curtain call of it. It's probably my first time ever doing a golf curtain call, but I thought this one was worth it because it was pretty impressive. Truly a one-of-one season, nothing like it ever before, and there'll probably be nothing like it again. Scotty Scheffler in 2024 was impressive. 20 starts, 8 wins. That's a 40% clip for anybody who doesn't know. 17 top 10s, second Masters, second Players, gold medal, FedEx Cup, every week at the world number 1, $62.2 million in total money, became a dad, and also spent jail time during the majors.
Hey, look, here's the deal. One, kudos to you for bringing up golf, because that's amazing. Two, the reason why you say it may never happen again, people talk all about Tiger Woods. Well, Tiger Woods, the money in golf wasn't like the money is now.
Yeah.
The fact that he won $62 million on tour this year was impressive. And the fact that he got imprisoned. He had to go to jail.
Yeah.
That was also the guy who arrested him got arrested.
Yeah.
For stealing
Oh,
money.
yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this guy's a scheme master.
Yeah.
And they didn't release where he got the money from.
No, he
I
stole
wonder if he stole it from Scotty.
No, he got the money from another guy who.
He did the same thing, too.
Yeah. You're going to have to go get that gun.
Okay.
This
Curtain
guy-
call.
He is nervous over
This,
here.
well, dude,
He's
I don't want to
allergic.
die.
Everybody's allergic to him, though. I don't understand it.
No, I am allergic to him.
Everybody is.
Very much allergic to him. Like swell up, throat swell up, die allergic.
Well, give us your curtain call while you're
My curtain call, I brought up a little earlier. Friend of ours, friend of the show, used to be LSU. Now TCU has been great freshman year. A couple years have gone by with him not having the year that he may have wanted to. Transferred to TCU to have a better opportunity. Didn't have a great year, battled injuries this year. First game of the season, 6 catches, 139 yards, and a touchdown. That is Jack Besh. Congratulations to him getting it back on track. Being there looks great. He's finally healthy. Hopefully he has a big year because I'm a fan of his. And, I'm rooting for the kid. So my curtain call is to Jack Besh. This Wasp is really – I don't think he knows that he's on the light and he's about to die.
I said that thing's moved twice, and you have not taken your eye off of it the entire time.
I'm watching it. Listen, this is I'm not a fan of wasps at all. And, like, I would try to get up to go and kill it, but, like, it's a little too high.
You should jump. Grab it.
No.
It doesn't sting when you grab.
Oh, that's not the case. That's the case. I can sneak attack it and then slap it down. Lloyd can't find the gun, though. I know it. It's okay, Lloyd. Come back.
Jack! Oh, my God.
He has like 18 guns in there. They're all toys.
Oh, you're going to hit it with that?
I don't think, well.
I don't think you should get that one.
I
I think we should just shut the show off and we'll be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got a curtain call?
John Emery.
John Emery.
Curtain call John Emery. People
There we
laughed
go.
at me. They said,
They did.
You're just a fan.
They did.
It's a joke. Not a joke.
Yeah.
John Emery's there for real. 10 carries, 61 yards, and you're lucky, USC. He got injured last year because he would have taken one to the crib.
Still got some juice in him.
Still
Listen.
got some juice.
He had one. I think that if he could go back and do the one play over, it was the one close, kind of in the red zone. When he went left, he tried to juke. I think if he just puts his foot in the ground and just tries to truck him, I think that's another. That's probably one thing that he probably gained 2, 3, 4 more yards.
He had one
instead
where he
he
had
gets
the,
3.
where he had the stiff arm that he couldn't get extended either, and they kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know if he trusts putting his foot in the ground just yet. Also, shout out to Hawk Tua. She's got a Talk to a podcast now. That girl.
Unbelievable.
Man, can we get out of here with that?
She's made an empire off of one clip.
It's great. It is actually pretty
It's
impressive.
the Kim Kardashian of our generation.
It's actually impressive. Well, Kim Kardashian is a billionaire now because she has a bunch of other things.
Yeah. All-time comeback.
Yeah. All right. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all staying with us. We're sorry about the
I am
shit
sorry.
show of a show today. It happens. We got a new studio. It looks beautiful. We're going to get all the technical stuff done hopefully before tomorrow. We have a show live from the studio tomorrow from 6 to 8 p.m. We're going to be talking all things NFL. We're going to hopefully have some guests on. We're going to get this thing back on track. Hopefully my voice is back from Vegas.
It won't be.
They're shipping it to me.
It won't be.
We'll see if it happens. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't, or anywhere. If you don't like watching us, we're anywhere you get your pods. We appreciate y'all love and support. We'll be back on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Peace.